I'm too tired to stumble on the memory of you, yoked across my shoulders. I'm too tired to wrestle with the memory of you, comforting and constricting in unequal measures, falling down, falling down. I wake up screaming.
Vilma live in LA, and this evening we are so happy to welcome back Deborah Mannas, who is a singer-songwriter, also a music producer, a poet, an artist. She has her own magazine, and we collaborate in our music production and songs. So, yay! Welcome back, Deborah Mannas, on the show.
Thank you, Vilma. So great to be back on the show, and it's always such a joy talking to you and collaborating with you. And we chat in so many different ways, right?
I know. So since the first time that, we had you on the show, we collaborated on Getting to Me, and that's been doing really, really well. So now, fast forward to this time after the pandemic and all, we've got a whole new set of songs. So let's tell our audience the latest single that you released and, the meaning of it.
Yes. How long has this collab been going on? For well over a year now. But
yeah, I'm so
productive in the meantime, right?
Yeah.
So the latest one is from the Why. And this is about mental illness and depression. A friend of mine, it actually happened to her, and this was maybe about 5 years ago. So I've been sitting with the song since 2017, actually. And this really happened. This is a lived experience of my friend who had a fiance with a mental illness, and living with somebody who has a mental illness is not an easy thing. So it's a combination of love and fear and being manipulated, and so that's reflected in the song. And they had decided to get married, and then her fiance committed suicide. So that loss is also reflected in the song. And then at the end, if you listen to it, it's resolved, because despite all the difficulty, my friend realized that she still loved her and that she couldn't help herself. So it's and that's what happens with people who are suffering from mental illnesses. They can't help themselves. And so the whole song is a plea for understanding, for acceptance, and for doing our bit to take care of people, our families and friends who have been diagnosed with a mental illness or even haven't.
Yeah, that's what's great about, songwriting, and when it's a real life experience, and then you're able to put it into a song and, release it and share it with other people that, are able to help. The song is able to help a lot of people. So what's the feedback been like with, from your friends?
They've actually loved the song. They said it's much needed. And, we released it just in time for a World Mental Wellness Month. I think it was the UN Mental Wellness Month. And then the 10th of October was UN Mental Wellness Day. And we released it just in time, about mid-month, right? And then since then, I've been on the radio in Hong Kong, RTHK. Shout out to Noreen Mir, who's very passionate about social causes and social justice, and especially, mental illnesses. And I work with the Kelly support group as well, for that does a lot of great work to empower youth and help them through addictions and help them through mental health issues too in their teenage years.
Right.
So the feedback I've got has been very positive. And you know, the whole flavor of the song, the mood of it, it's very listenable. It's still very listenable. And if you don't know, you know, the depth of it, you would just, I guess, you might still get it from the song, but you would
Yeah.
listen to the song regardless.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I wake up screaming, hands reached out. No, no, you never stop, I never win. This pain won't leave me, I'm on my own.
So, you know, with regards to just even songwriting, you work or volunteer with organizations that help people. Wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Kudos to you.
little bit of an activist.
Yeah, I mean, it's good because voices are important, and I believe you represent a lot of people, their voices that sometimes they can't speak out or they're afraid to speak out, so you're there for them, which is
Yeah,
good.
I have some causes that are very, very dear to my heart. You know, particularly non-violent. So, really anti-war.
Yeah,
Very I'm a DEI activist, and mental illness actually falls in this DEI space as well. How people with mental illnesses are treated, whether or not they are allowed to work, get jobs, and then treated in the workforce. So, and everyone I've spoken to since, you know, I embarked on this journey, almost every parent, actually, it's quite frightening,
yeah,
is struggling with a child or a relative who is going through a mental illness. So, you know, it was really great to be able to do the song. Its time had come. It's been sitting in my computer since 2017. And, you know, Vilma, when we worked on it, right?
yeah,
Even though I had taken a poem written by my friend, which was a very lengthy poem, and adapted it to song, we still adapted it further, right?
yes, yes.
You
So,
collaborated with me to adapt it further with
yeah.
your fantastic songwriting skills.
Oh, you're, yeah.
My own. You broke yourself in silence, crushed me under lies, driving me scared and weak. You broke yourself in silence, trapped in your disguise, hiding me from the why, from the why.
I mean, let's tell our viewers how we collaborate because they know your song, they know that I'm also a music producer, but they don't know the scope of what it takes to be able to produce a song. So, the starting point. Text, hey Vilma.
Yeah, hey, Vilma. So, you know, I'm a copious lyricist. I write and write and write, and I always start with lyrics. And I'm a poet, you know, as you know.
Yeah.
So I get an idea in my head, and if it moves to song, then it moves to song very fast, because then I can hear the melody. And I am music illiterate. I'm proud and not yet not proud to say that, because despite it, I'm lucky I have my voice, so, and I have my phone, which you can
Yes.
see. Um, Even in the days when you know, iPhones weren't in existence, I had a little small recorder, and you know, I would record songs into that directly. So once I get a tune in my head, and you know, and then I frame the song to um, the song form,
Yes.
if you will, and then I record it, and then I continually refine it till I'm at a stage where I'm comfortable singing the whole song end to end, and that is quite a rigorous process, because you know, there has to be a beat, there has to be a flow, there's
Yeah.
got to be the chorus and the bridge and what follows, and then I have to go back in key, the right key, to the beginning of the song, where
Absolutely.
wherever it is I'm ending, right, and without an instrument, so it's just my voice. And then it's like, hey Vilma.
I've got this song. What do you think? You know, and it's good because, I'm listening to it from a fresh perspective and from my ears. Okay, so I really listen to you. What do you want? What's your
Yeah.
feeling? And that's part of being a music producer, is like you're the artist, you're the songwriter. I have to deliver your feeling.
But I think when you co-create and
Yeah.
when you're a collaborator, you cannot be married to your work. So this is a big lesson for me that I've learned through the last 20 years. You have to learn to let go as well, right? Because at the end of the day, you want a product that
Yeah.
you'll be really proud of. And then you want to work with somebody that you can give some creative license to as well, right?
Right.
So I'm always very interested and very thrilled when people come up with tweaks, and changes to make the song better, which you do.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is because, when you ask me questions, why this, why that, and there's always an explanation of why, I think so. What do you think? Do you agree, or do you think we can make it a little better? And I love that, because that means that, we're working together. We
Yeah.
listen to one another.
Or you might say, hey, I think these lyrics would be better placed somewhere else. So, something moves. And then I'd go back and I study the song and I'm like, okay, it means actually rewriting how the arrangement works. And we just did that for I'm Not Your Angel.
Yeah.
And so, but it took me a few thinking, okay, so how would that work? Now I moved what I thought would be a chorus right into the verse. And I moved what was part of the verse to the chorus
Yes.
because
You
it was
flipped
more
it.
hooky. So I flipped it.
Yeah.
And now you're working on that too.
Yes. Yes. So
So it's and then Don't Push Me Away, which I can't wait to release.
I know we've been working on that as well. And so let's talk about Don't Push Me Away. That's going to be released fairly soon, probably in a couple of weeks or so.
In a couple of weeks. I'm waiting for the final master. So
Okay.
it's and we work with Anthony, who's really great at mixing and mastering. So if we continue explaining, then you do the final song form, and that takes so much listening on your part and so much instrumentation on your part and so many hours of work on your part.
There really is. And sometimes I have to step away so that I can like listen to it again with different ears, because I literally am sometimes uh, chorus part, I'm listening to it for 5 hours. Like, okay, what's good for this? What's good for that? And then as I'm finished and I'm going to bed, something pops into my head. So then the next morning, well, after my day thingy, when I get back to the studio, I gotta lay it down like that.
The creative process, it's so joyful. I mean, if you let yourself just go, right, and imagine how it all might work, but it also means that sometimes you have to undo some things.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, like we did. So the next song is like, Don't Push Me Away. Would you like to talk about that song?
Yeah, so Don't Push Me Away is a more recent writing of mine, and people ask me what's the inspiration behind my songs, and did it really happen to me? And I've said, I've written like some 500, if not more, poems, and if it all happened to me, oh my God. That's the power of the imagination. So Don't Push Me Away is really it's quite a visual song. As with much of my writing, it's fairly visual. But the whole point of the song is when you take someone for granted, and you let them go, and then you realize it, and then you try and get them back, but it's too late. So
Yeah.
it's really about taking ownership of your part in maybe the failure of a relationship.
Yeah.
But so it's a song of regret.
Yeah. Are we able to sing a snippet of that?
Oh,
Don't push me away, 'cause I'm already so far gone. Don't lead me astray, 'cause I'm lost and wandering. And if I cry, and when I hide, wonder why, but you never know the truth.
Okay. So part of the exciting, part of collaboration is this time we brought in Roel Garcia, who is a master musician, music producer, award-winning, and my brother-in-law. And of course, my brother Bernie on guitar. Wow. So
yeah.
how did that feel? As soon as, we brought them in, it brought I believe, the whole production to another level.
I think, there's something about, actual live, especially guitars and keys,
Yeah.
and especially played by maestros like Bernie and Ruel, right? And that when I heard that piano, I was like, whoa, because
I
it's just
know.
so elegant and so subtle, but so effective.
Yes, me too. I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
You should have seen me on
Mhm.
my headphone and I'm going, wow.
And then, you introduced me to them, right? And so I actually had the pleasure of meeting Roel and Tess, and they live in my building. Who knew?
Oh
So,
no.
so when you do these collabs, you also it's joyous, it's fantastic, and you have a really great product, but you also meet really great people.
The shadows tempt me, circling my mind, whispering to my darker self to follow them, to follow them. You're not forgiven from the why.
And your family is just so talented, so much musicianship. So it's really great that
Yeah.
you can, hey, can you help me with
Hey,
this?
hey, but they get paid too, so thank you. And we're
Oh,
actually going to be bringing in my two sisters as well. We are doing a Christmas song.
we
Yeah.
are indeed.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's something that I've been singing for dozens of years, really, when, okay, it may not be dozens of years, but, and I just wanted to do that song. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I think everybody has to have a Christmas song.
Yeah.
Even me, I'm thinking, okay, Vilma, you can produce anything. Go ahead and do one, one for this
One
year.
Christmas song.
Yeah.
Um,
You
and
know,
it's a really, really old song that's in the public domain, but I've also written a Christmas song, but I don't think we're going to have it ready for
yeah.
this Christmas. So we're
Probably not
planning
because
ahead.
it takes a lot of time. Because you have, besides, I'm not your angel. We used to have what, you know. Not sure if you
What
can.
do you want from me?
What do you want from me? And
That's still being mixed.
I know. So, that, and then of course, I'm not your angel coming up. So by then, we're already heading over to 2023.
Yeah. So I think we'll release what do you want from me in Jan of 23, and I'm not your angel in Feb. And it looks like, I mean, I've got enough material to do
I know.
one song every month, if not
Every
more.
month. I know. I mean, I think that's really good because right now, actually, singles are so much better than albums because everybody wants to hear something. They don't want to have the whole album, you know?
Yeah, and maybe at the end of when I've got 9 or 10 new singles, then I'll compile it into an album, or an album of some of the best and catchiest of my songs, and some of the more cause motivated songs. So I'll compile them like that. But you're right, Vilma. in the 80s and 90s, and even earlier, when you listen to music from the 60s and 70s, people are still listening to that music. It stood the test of time. And we would, I remember my mom, she'd buy like an album, ABBA or the Carpenters or whatever, and you'd buy a whole album. And every song would be different, but every song would be unique to the artist. But it would be different. It would be interesting. And now not so much, right? So that's why when I set out to write, I wanted every song to be different because I can. And so when you listen to my style, you can see that you can identify that it's me, but the song and how the song is quite each of the songs are different.
Different, yes, absolutely. So now let's tell our viewers where they can, your website and the digital platforms.
So my handle is at Deborah Mannas, DeborahMannas. And of course, you can see my short name is Debbie Mannas, or my short form, I guess.
Yes.
So Instagram at Deborah Mannas, Facebook at Deborah Mannas, YouTube also at Deborah Mannas, and I have a website, deborahmannas.com. Surprise.
That's wonderful. So anyway, thank you so much for being on the show, and we're going to have more, in the coming future.
Thank you so much, Vilma. And it's such a joy. I'm blessed that to be able to work with you.
Me too.
I'm too tired to stumble on the memory of you, yoked across my shoulders. I'm too tired to wrestle with the memory of you, comforting and constricting in unequal measures, falling down, falling down. I wake up screaming, hands reached out. No, no, you never stop, I never win. This pain won't leave me, I'm on my own. You broke yourself in silence, crushed me under lies, driving me scared and weak. You broke yourself in silence, trapped in your disguise, hiding me from the why, from the why. The shadows tempt me, circling my mind, whispering to my darker self to follow them, to follow them. You're not forgiven from the why. You broke yourself in silence, crushed me under lies, driving me scared and weak. You broke yourself in silence, trapped in your disguise, hiding me from now. You couldn't find yourself. I love you from my brain.